Díomh Gachtainna, Dave Mahasa, Bwailam Foiltaroid Corroiv, Goody Gachtainna and Shaw, Tommy the Rash. We're back. Aver Color Daniel de Butler, Ahar Pronchius, Tuchty Doyle, Kieran August Morris, Shanador Maria, Privimana Corla and Gahar August Angunte, Dr. Padraig O'Dollig, Colori Ord Comfort Garoid, Iana Specialta, Bwailam Foilta Corroiv, Goody an Ocoid, Fuila, Ocoid Kaidrov, Kinta, Gondout on Failora, August Began Tronona Eraus, so Sigi Shear, August Buintanavas. Mayor Daniel Butler, Father Frank O'Connor, Kieran O'Donnell TD, Morris Quinlivan TD, Senator Maria Byrne, Chief Executive of Limerick City and County Council, Dr. Pat Daly, Chief Superintendent Jerry Roach, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our virtual viewers here with us today as well. Good afternoon to you all, and you're very welcome to the Limerick Person of the Year 2021 Gala Awards Luncheon. So, for those who don't know me, Lorcan Murray is my name, and I'm going to guide you through the awards ceremony this afternoon. Now, before we start our proceedings, I just want to say, and I think this goes from all, particularly of the organisers of this wonderful event, to say it's great to be back here in the Clayton Hotel for our in-person event. And due to the COVID-19 restrictions, last year's event took place virtually, which was a tremendous success on the top floor of the building. The only thing is nobody could get up there to enjoy the views and the spectacular that it turned out to be. But you know what, it feels extra special that we can all share in this great occasion side by side here in the Pegasus Suite this afternoon. So as you know, a Limerick person, our group, who best exemplifies the spirit of Limerick is chosen each month over the past year, and today one of those marvellous ambassadors will be named the Limerick Person of the Year 2021. Now, today is a day to celebrate and reflect on the achievements of those monthly winners, and we're delighted to be joined by some well-known faces from the city and county. So before we meet our monthly award recipients, we have a few people for you to meet, and the Limerick Person of the Year Awards could not take place each year without the support of our sponsors, and I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the support, and if you would too, of Limerick Leader, Southern and the Clayton Hotel. So the first person I'd like to introduce you to this afternoon is your host, the General Manager of the Clayton Hotel, who rarely gets the opportunity to sit down here in this room. Will you welcome, please, Darren Harding.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome here to the Clayton Hotel Limerick today. We're honoured and delighted to be hosting this Limerick Person of the Year Awards 2021 in conjunction with our co-sponsors, Southern Media and Limerick Leader. It's a fantastic occasion which we honour the wonderful people of Limerick City and Limerick County. So it's very short for me. I leave it to Dave to take over with the long speeches. I'd just like to wish the nominees the very best of luck and enjoy your meal. Thank you.
Darren, thank you very much. And I'd like to introduce you now to the Director of Southern. And there is no one better or more qualified to tell you a little bit more about these very special awards than he. Will you welcome, please, David O'Hora.
Good afternoon. Mayor, Limerick City and County, public representatives, friends, Romans, and last year we mentioned people from Ballinacurra Gardens, so this year from Cardavan, people are welcome. The good news is, for those of you who haven't been here before, you're going to hear the speech for the first time. For those of you who have been here before, you're going to hear it for the 10th time. This is like a good suit. It goes on forever and ever. I have a really easy job. Every year my job, I'm the thank you man. That's all I have to do is say thank you. But if you get it wrong and you leave people out, you spend the rest of the year apologising. So I'm sorry before I begin. I want to start by welcoming all of you here today and to thank you for taking the time to be here. And it's really nice to be back. We had a virtual thing last year, but it's not the same. It's horrible. It's remarkable that for the last 2 decades, we've been finding people, incredible people, who do all kinds of brilliant things. And this year wasn't any exception. They all do really, really different and assorted, but they share one common thing, that they unselfishly go out and do marvellous things. And today is about recognising our winners. And I say this every year, and I don't apologise for it. Really important to know, this isn't a competition. These people were nominated. They didn't enter. They do really different things. So whoever the group or the individual that wins today is chosen as a representative of everything that all of you have done. We're really grateful. If COVID taught us one thing, it's to be grateful for. And this today is really just about expressing loudly and proudly how grateful we are to all of you for what you've done. We don't say thanks often enough, and we don't say well done often enough, so this is only a small gesture, but it's an important one. And today is your day, the winner's day. I'm sorry we can't make more of it, but we want to make much of it. And you relax, sit back, and enjoy the day. I want to thank, even though I shouldn't, they say Darren never gets a chance to sit down. He spends his life sitting down at this hotel. Can I thank our fellow sponsors, Darren Harding, Elaine, Joanna, Emma, and all the team here at the Clayton Hotel for their welcome, their hospitality, and their support. We don't have to tell you how bad it was for the last 2 years, and they stuck with it, and they have stuck with it. So I would encourage you, if you can, give the Clayton your support when and if you can. Thank you, Darren. I'd like to thank the Limerick Leader for their interest, their enthusiasm, and for getting involved and staying involved. It's great to have a local paper that actually cares and that is looking for something positive to say and follows through on it. So thank you, Don. Can I acknowledge Kay Milan, who is here? She was missing 2 years ago after a skiing accident, but she's back. Kay was one of the early instigators of these awards, so thank you, Kay, and good to see you. Can I welcome Dr. Catherine Motherway and Seela Holman Lee, former winners. You're both very welcome. Give them a round of applause if you would. A special word of appreciation for our judges, Mayor of Limerick City and County, Councillor Daniel Butler, Dr. Pat Daly, Chief Executive of Limerick City and County Council, and Don O'Sullivan, the Managing Editor. They don't have an easy job, but they do it reasonably well. Give them a round of applause. To the people who do all the hard work around the event in our offices, I'm deeply grateful to Mary O'Riordan, Dylan O'Neill, and I'd like to thank Anya Fitzgerald of the Limerick Leader, who does Trojan work for it. A round of applause for those people. Can I acknowledge the help and support of Dennis Tierney from Limerick City and County Council Communications for his help, and a round of applause for them would be great. And we're really fortunate that we don't have to leave the parish to get one of the finest broadcasters in Ireland to be our MC for the day. So give a big round of applause to Larkin Murray. The individuals in the group who are recognised today lay the foundations. They put the building blocks in place to make where we live in Limerick a place we can be proud of and a better place to bring kids up in. So finally, can I address the people that it's all about today, the winners. You make us proud. You do us proud. And in Southern creativity and storytelling is at the heart of what we do. And the people nominated today, their own powerful stories add to the fabric of this place. If there's one thing over the last 2 years, as I've said, it's to teach us to be grateful. And today, in a very small way, we say very loudly to you, we're very proud of you, we're very grateful to you. So, finally, the only people I've left to thank is all of you, and enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And finally, I'd like to call on the managing editor, and of course judge too, to say a few words to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Don O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Larkin. I don't know who decides on the running order of speakers, but I'm going to have to get ahead of Dave, I think, for next year's one, but sure, look, we'll see. I'll keep this brief. I don't think anyone's going to leave here today going, I wish that guy from the Limerick Leader spoke for another 5 minutes. He was great crack. So I just going to echo what the lads had said, just the thank yous first off to Mayor Butler, Father and Dr. Pat, TD's nominees and friends for attending today. It's a great honour for us as organisers to have everyone here. The Clayton Hotel, Darren and his team, as you can see and we're about to see with the meal we get, are just top class and have been since I've been involved in my second event as editor. To Dave and to Mary and Southern for all the work that they do, and obviously to my colleagues in the Limerick Leader, especially Anya Fitzgerald, as Dave touched on it there. I don't do anything. Anya does it all. So I have to give her credit today, and to my colleague Dave Hurley here. So that's a round of applause for everyone. I was going to thank Larkin, but he's already been thanked, so thanks, Larkin. That's nice and short. Just to the judges, so Dr. Pat, myself, and Mayor Butler meet, and it's essentially a Royal Rumble to see who comes out and survives at the end, and they get to pick the winner. I jest. It's an honour, to be honest with you, which brings me on to my next point about the nominees. We sit down every month, we decide on, is there good stories out there from Limerick? It's not easy to pick one a month. It's not easy to pick one winner from 12, such as the quality of people in this city and county. Which brings me to the point about, I suppose, the Limerick Leader. We have a policy internally called CAPS, which is continuous, accurate, positive stories. We try, where possible, to be positive about Limerick. We will continue to do so. We've had 12 positive stories again this year in terms of our nominees. We're absolutely delighted to be associated with every one of them and with our sponsors as well. And I suppose the last part is, people have achieved here today on local, national and international level, and we're with you every step of the way. We take massive pride in showcasing Limerick to the world. We will continue to do so, and every time you have a success, we feel like we have one too, which is kind of riding on your coattails, so thanks for that. It makes us feel great. And finally, enjoy the afternoon. We're delighted you're here, and best luck. Thank you.
Thanks again to Don, and actually congratulations to him as well on the continued success. We were talking about the paper, but actually the online success and breaking all kinds of records with your online hits, which is marvellous. So well done and congrats on all of that. Now, I hope you're beginning to relax now and enjoying the occasion so far. It is wonderful, as I mentioned, to be back here in the Pegasus Suite to share this very special occasion with our 12 nominees, and no doubt a little bit of anxiety and build up as we move through today. But the next person to address you, unfortunately, couldn't be here with us due to work commitments, but he did send a very special video. So let's listen to a message from An Taoiseach Micheál Martin.
Thank you for that introduction, Larkin. It's a pleasure to join you for Limerick Person of the Year 2021. Unfortunately, I can't be there with you in person, but it's good that you're able to hold the event together in one venue again this year. It has been another extraordinary year for Ireland, a year when the solidarity, generosity and resilience of our people has been shown time and time again. As a nation, we pulled together to come through difficult phases of the COVID-19 pandemic, a pandemic almost unprecedented in its impact on every part of our lives. Now again, as we face another unprecedented humanitarian crisis caused by an immoral and abhorrent war on Ukraine and its civilians, the people of Limerick and Ireland are responding magnificently. We've seen that spirit exemplified through the actions and achievements of many of the nominees honoured today at these awards. I want to pay tribute to each and every one of you for the work you do to make your community in Limerick and the entire country a better and brighter place. I note in particular one young nominee, Padraig O'Callaghan, or Paddy, who I had the privilege to meet when he interviewed me earlier this year. During that interview, proud Limerick native Paddy reminded me of Limerick's All-Ireland final victory over Cork in the hurling, which was without doubt one of the toughest questions I've had to answer all year. Of course, the achievement of Limerick's hurlers to win back-to-back All-Ireland titles has ensured that they will go down as one of the greatest sides in the history of Gaelic games. I don't know who the winner of this year's award is, but every one of the 12 nominees today would be worthy winners, whether they be inspirational fundraisers, innovative entrepreneurs, elite sports people, artists, or in business. The Limerick Person of the Year Awards wouldn't be possible without the hard work and support of the organisers and sponsors. So all that's left is to wish everyone the very best of luck and enjoy the evening. Go to Mili Mahogov Galer.
Good Míle Magat Taoiseach Micheál Martin, and it must have been quite difficult for him to refer to the Limerick hurlers as one of the greatest sides of all time. And he didn't bat an eyelid. Now, I'd like to, well, before I introduce our next speaker, who was last year's Person of the Year, we have a reminder of some of the past nominees and winners, including some of those who we honoured last year. Persons of the Month, Anne Curley, Denise Chyla, Castle Connell Boat Club, Emmett McNamara, Sister Agnes Fitzgerald, Oisin O'Callaghan, the Limerick Senior Hurlers. The Limerick Person of the Year for 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020, Dr. Catherine Motherway.
What'll be the course? And who will call the rain? Feel it fall into our skin from a welling deep within.
Whoever wins, they say it every year, is a representative of all of these people. It's not a competition. They didn't enter. They were nominated. They were chosen. We're just amazed at the number of great people out there doing great things.
So many, it's great to see so many familiar faces there. Little did we know back in February 2020, when we gathered here for our last in-person awards, that the following 2 years would play out like something from a far-fetched Hollywood movie. It's been extremely difficult for everybody over the last 2 years, but particularly for our hospital staff. And I'd like to introduce you now to a very special woman who, during our virtual awards ceremony last year, was named the Limerick Person of the Year for 2020. She was honoured for her Trojan work on the front line since the COVID-19 pandemic hit in March 2020. She was a calm, reassuring and authoritative voice on the impact of the pandemic when society was facing great uncertainty and was fearful of what might happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our guest speaker and last year's Person of the Year, Dr. Catherine Motherway.
Thank you, Lorcan, and thank you everybody for the welcome, and thank you for the sponsors and for indeed last year's judges who were so kind as to award me, on behalf of the people that I work with, the Limerick of the Person award. So I was asked today to speak briefly, you'll be delighted to hear, on the pandemic, a subject that I think we all can relate to. So most of us can remember how our lives changed dramatically, both for us as communities, as a nation and the world. COVID-19, this novel, as in new coronavirus, initially started in China and then spread throughout the world. We all remember looking at scenes from Wuhan and then dreadful scenes from northern Italy. The pandemic declared March 11th, 2019, shortly after your last in-person event, followed by lockdowns throughout the world. Most of us could not imagine our cities with empty, eerie streets, the quiet on the roads, our schools, theatre, and all public life put into hibernation. This new world of Zoom, work from home where possible, and grandparents learning how to use WhatsApp. In fact, I remember my mother, God rest her, talking to my son, on WhatsApp, first she'd ever used it, telling her this was her second emergency, She was referring to the Second World War. And I am so glad she is not alive today to witness what's currently happening on the outskirts of Europe. For many people, it was loss of work, loss of jobs, particularly in hospitality, travel, and the arts. And I think we owe those people much because they, in my view, made a huge sacrifice to keep those of us who still had to go to work safe. The healthcare sector was obviously challenged, and we took that challenge and we looked at it with a significant amount of fear and trepidation, and also, I think, perhaps with some pride because we knew we had work to do and we knew we were going to do it. There were lots of meetings, lots of organisations, checking oxygen supplies, and redeploying staff from areas where they didn't normally work to new areas which brought some stress. Yesterday, when I looked on the HSE website, we've had over 1,481,171 cases of coronavirus, and sadly, over 6,800 deaths south of the border and more north of the border. However, the game changer has been, I think, the vaccination programme. The swift and early development of safe and effective vaccines has, in fact, made a huge difference. And in particular in Ireland, our uptake of that vaccination programme has meant that we are now much safer as a population. While the case numbers are very high, over half of patients in our hospitals with COVID-19 are not there because of COVID. They just happen to have it. Well over half the patients in our ICUs now with COVID are there for another reason. So it's very different to what it was last January when we had over 2,000 people seriously in hospital with COVID and over 2/3 of our ICU capacity occupied by people really ill with this disease. The combination of our adherence to public health measures and to that public uptake means that we have tried to keep at the minimum serious death and illness as low as we could. That said, over 6,800 lives have been lost. And it was really right, I think, that last month we took time to remember those people, both in March the 18th on that bank holiday, which was a day of remembrance, and also at the ceremony in Dublin, which I attended on behalf of my colleagues in intensive care and my colleagues in UHL Hospital Group, and indeed on my community, both in Ballinasloe and in Limerick. And we know and acknowledge those lives that we've lost, but we also would remember them, and we hope for a better future. COVID still is causing a disruption in our healthcare service, and it's causing particularly significant problems with us delivering scheduled care to patients, particularly surgical care. And it's really important that the healthcare service and the government work together to expand our capacity to protect that service, because Those patients that we defer today may become our emergencies tomorrow. And we are going to work very hard in the healthcare service to try and ensure that scheduled care is protected as much as possible as we go forward. But there are always people who go the extra mile or give that little bit extra. Last year, as I acknowledged at the beginning, the judges, I think, honoured our healthcare workers by nominating myself. But looking at the many names both this year and last year in the field of sport, art, culture, community activities and championships, these people, you and my colleagues, are the people who make a difference. We work, take pride in what we do, and go that extra effort. There's an old saying in Irish, it's called Ninarca Curla Kela, which means there is great strength in unity. So now we face more difficult times. We look at the prospect of war in Europe, climate change, the rising cost of living. But I have no doubt if the spirit in this room and the people in this room actually is transmitted throughout the community, that we will continue to go from strength to strength. Or an art go neart is another saying in Irish that I like to quote every now and again. I can speak it, but can never write it down, unfortunately. So I was asked to sort of speak briefly on these subjects, and I think we've had a very difficult 2 years, and we're coming out of that particular phase. But there's always challenges in lives, and I think we're going to do our best to meet them and help each other along the way. Thank you. That's my take.
Last year's Person of the Year, one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Catherine Motherway. Agus ceann eile freisin go nairi an bóthar leat. Now, I'm going to make you wait just that little bit longer now before we reveal our Person of the Year. I'm sure many of you are famished and went a little longer this morning knowing you were coming here for lunch, and I know Darren, as was mentioned, has a treat in store for us since it is our awards luncheon. So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to lunch, but just before that, while I'm glad our Father O'Connor, Prunchias O'Connor, can Orbia Avanu, to say grace.
As we listened to all the previous speakers, 2 words have emerged: pride and gratitude. And while we express our gratitude to the nominees and our congratulations to the eventual winner, we honour all the people in our city and our county who do so much, a lot of it quietly. Many of you do your work very quietly. We're very proud of you. So I'm going to invite all of us, those of all faiths and none, to take a moment of pride, a moment of gratitude for what makes our city and county so special, so powerful. And I'll pray in my tradition. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which of thy bounty we are about to receive through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Well, enjoy lunch, and we'll come back to you in a little while. Bon appetit. Varish, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy the Rashanish, agus Raig, agus Lanamy the Raig, me the one. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to introduce you to each of the Person of the Year nominees, and you're going to see exactly why these 12 very special people are being honoured here today. Now, after each citation is read out, I would ask each of the nominees to come forward and to take up a position on stage here with us. And of course, they will receive their front page, their fabulous front page from the Limerick Leader as well, which you'll see them as they go across, but a really nice memento as well. Now, so without further ado, it's time to meet them. First up, our January Person of the Month. A boy who captured the hearts of the nation by sharing his tips on how to stay positive, particularly during the COVID-19 lockdowns, was Limerick Person of the Month for January. Padraig O'Callaghan from Knockany began working on weekly motivational videos called podcasts with his father Brian. Brian said it was a way to help his 11-year-old son Padraig, who has Down syndrome, with his communication skills and confidence. And all the effort has certainly paid off, as young Padraig is now a complete professional when he's on air. When the COVID-19 restrictions began to chip away at people's motivation, the podcasts really gained traction, with people all over the world tuning in for Padraig's nuggets of positivity. Padraig's podcasts are published on Mondays on the social media platforms of Brian's business EcoStraws. In his videos, Padraig covers everything from the difference between being a manager and a leader to the importance of starting your day right by making your bed, as well as the importance of offering support to those who need it when times are tough. I'm very happy to get this award. It's amazing news, beamed the student of Knockany National School when he was presented with his award. Such has been the reaction to his podcasts, Padraig is even contemplating a job in TV when he's older. He wants to be a superstar. Well, we think he's one already. Our January Person of the Month, Padraig O'Callaghan. And you can keep that applause going as Padraig comes up to join us on stage. You're very welcome, Padraig. Now then, let's hear about our February Persons of the Month. A family who completed a virtual walk to Perth to raise funds for the intensive care unit at University Hospital Limerick were named the Limerick Persons of the Month for February. The family of the late John Fitzgerald of Cricora accepted the award in honour of the popular Limerick man who passed away peacefully in University Hospital Limerick. The 67-year-old contracted COVID-19 over Christmas in 2020, and he took his last breath on January 27, 2021. His devoted family were at his bedside. In the midst of their grief, the extended Fitzgerald family decided to organise a virtual journey from the front door of John's home in Cricora to the front door of his son Mark's home in Perth. They wanted to raise money for those who cared for John in his final days. John was in the ICU for 23 days and spent 9 days on a ventilator. Unfortunately, Mark had to witness his dad dying on video from Australia. A journey for John raised in the region of €30,000 for staff and patients in the ICU. Around 100 family and friends in Limerick and as far away as America and Australia took part in the 15,051 kilometres walk over 24 days. Thanks to the huge generosity of the public and local businesses, a huge array of items, including iPads for patients and care packs for staff, were purchased and are now being used in the ICU. Please, put your hands together for the February Persons of the Month, the family of the late John Fitzgerald. And Kelly Fitzgerald is going to join us on stage. You're welcome, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly. Now then, it's time to meet our March Persons of the Month. A group of students who donated the profits they made from their face mask mini company to help St. Camillus' Hospital were the Limerick Persons of the Month for March. The TY Enterprise class at Thomond Community College in the city recognised the need for face coverings for all students and staff. As a mini company, the students decided to develop their own set of face masks for the school community. The students came up with the idea of selling the face masks. After extensive market research, they decided on different mask types, incorporating the school crest, and then, with software, they started designing the masks. Having sold hundreds of masks, the students made a healthy profit and wanted to do something charitable for the local community. They came up with the idea of making a tangible donation to St. Camillus' Hospital for the benefit of the residents. The students contacted St. Camillus' and asked them what they would like. St. Camillus' came back to them a week later and said they were after buying half a dozen tables for outdoors but had no parasols. The students purchased 6 top-of-the-range parasols and had extra funding, so they decided to gift the hospital with 2 gazebos as well. Teacher Dermot Kelly met one of the residents who he said got very emotional over it, that the students would think of them. The students, Mr. Kelly said, could have split the money between themselves, but decided to look beyond themselves for a deserving cause. The March Persons of the Month, the TY Enterprise class at Thomond Community College. Mohammed Khizar is going to come forward representing the class. Mohammed, you're very welcome. Thanks, Mohammed. Now, let's meet our April Persons of the Month. The team behind an array of iconic murals which have transformed the landscape of Limerick City were named the Persons of the Month for April. Draw Out Urban Art were honoured for making Limerick City a national and international focal point for the highest quality street art. Catherine O'Halloran, Managing Director of Draw Out, was eager to engage young people in Limerick with art that they felt represented and made sense to them. When it comes to choosing a location for a mural, Catherine is adamant that it needs to be connected to a community of some kind. The Draw Out team have long been recognised and praised for their eye-catching work. Among the highlights are the ice cream mural, the mural of the late Dolores O'Riordan, and, of course, the highly evocative mural of the legendary Limerick lady Dodo Redden, whose real name is Honora Quirk. It was the mural of Dodo which brought the group to a whole new level in terms of wider recognition. Artist Omen was chosen to do the work. Dodo was renowned for her 2 passions in life, her great love of dogs and rugby, more specifically Young Munster RFC. She attended every game and was a regular at Thomond Park. She was often seen walking around the city or at matches with her pram full of dogs. She rescued countless dozens of stray dogs and had been caring for 24 dogs when she passed away following a short illness in September 1995. The mural off Mulgrave Street is a fitting tribute to a unique character. Please put your hands together for our April Persons of the Month. Draw Out Urban Art. And Catherine O'Halloran of Draw Out is going to join us now on stage. You're welcome, Catherine. Now let's move on to May, Limerick Person of the Month. A bright young entrepreneur whose crazy curiosity about life has seen him receive numerous national and international awards and even feature on Forbes magazine, was named the Limerick Person of the Month for May. Jack O'Connor from Kilcolman in West Limerick was shortlisted for the 10 Outstanding Young Persons of the World Award by Junior Chamber International. A past winner of the award was John F. Kennedy, no less. In 2020, Jack was the United Nations Youth Delegate for Ireland. Last year, he was chosen for the Washington Ireland programme. Sadly, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the University of Limerick international business student was not able to travel to the American capital to take part, as all sessions took place virtually. His greatest success to date has been his establishment of the social enterprise startup Moyo Nua, which has won international business awards and featured on Forbes magazine. The project developed a seed planter to allow the user, usually a smallholder farmer in less developed countries, to plant seeds without having to bend over. Moyo Nua was started as a young scientist project when Jack was in 6th year at Desmond College in Newcastle West. It won the Science Development Award, sponsored by Irish Aid in 2017. The prize included a trip to Malawi, sponsored by Irish Aid. Jack has since volunteered there every year apart from the past 2 years because of the pandemic. Jack described it as a big moment and turning point in his life. Certainly one to watch. Our May Person of the Month, Jack O'Connor. And if Jack would like to come forward, well done, Jack. Welcome. All right, let's find out who our June Persons of the Month are. A group of people who are considered to be the unsung heroes of the health service during the COVID-19 pandemic were named the Limerick Persons of the Month for June. The HSE Midwest Community Healthcare's Home Support Service predominantly serves people in the community aged over 65. This service helps these people to live longer in their own homes. Its dedicated team of healthcare support assistants support clients with everyday tasks and assist them to continue living independently. They have worked tirelessly throughout the pandemic during a time when they were both vulnerable themselves to COVID-19 and were also caring for very vulnerable clients. There are 568 HCSAs directly employed by the HSE in the Midwest region, which includes Limerick, Clare and North Tipperary. 289 of them are based in Limerick. These frontline staff supported nearly 1,800 older people in Limerick last year. The team also works with other community supports such as Meals on Wheels and public health nursing services. The healthcare support assistants have a different routine to suit each individual's needs. They do practical things like the shopping, lighting the fire, cooking, assisting the client with their personal care such as washing, and they assist them with their medications. As well as providing this practical assistance and support, HCSAs also found themselves during the pandemic providing a much valued listening ear and reassurance to vulnerable older people, as some of them were terrified of COVID-19 and had no family members to support them. Please put your hands together for our June Persons of the Month, HSE Midwest Community Healthcare's Home Support Service. And I'd like to ask Catherine Gleeson to come forward. Catherine. Welcome, Catherine. Now we're halfway there, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's meet our July Persons of the Month. The 4 Limerick-born competitors who represented the Treaty City and County at the Olympic Games in Tokyo last summer were the Limerick Persons of the Month for July. The Limerick athletes who were selected to represent Team Ireland in Japan were Sarah Lavin, Lisnagry, who competed in the women's 100-metre hurdles; Greg O'Shea, Corbally, who competed as a member of the Ireland Rugby Sevens team; Roisin Upton, Raheen, who was selected on the Irish women's hockey team; and Carolyn Hayes, Newcastle West, who competed in the individual women's triathlon event. A battling performance saw Carolyn finish 23rd at her first Olympics. Carolyn's father, Tony, said that joining his family around the television to watch his daughter compete in the Olympics was like getting ready for a Christmas celebration. Greg O'Shea competed at the Games with the Ireland Rugby Sevens team. Unfortunately, the side didn't manage to get past the group stages of the competition in Japan. Reflecting on the Games, which of course took place against the backdrop of the global pandemic, Greg said, "We didn't compete as best we could have, but we still came 10th in the world, which is amazing for the country." Roisin Upton also reflected on the mixed feelings associated with the Summer Olympics. From a performance point of view, the Ireland side didn't achieve their goal of getting to the quarter-final, but they are determined to use the experience to develop and improve further. Athlete Sarah Lavin, meanwhile, spoke of being overwhelmed by the response of the people of Limerick to her achievement in representing Ireland in the Olympics. "I'm overwhelmed by how much everyone appreciates the hard work that goes into becoming an Olympian," smiled the Lisnagry woman. "Please put your hands together for our July Persons of the Month, our Limerick Olympians." And you can make it that extra special loud if you don't mind, because unfortunately, due to their extremely busy schedules, and it really is a busy time of year for them, our four Olympians have sent their apologies, and I know they will see this online, so thank you for the extra bout of spurt of applause. But we would just like to send our best wishes to them for their upcoming events and their endeavours, all right? So we'll move along to the August Persons of the Month. Limerick's back-to-back All-Ireland winning hurlers were crowned the Limerick Persons of the Month for August. Limerick took their place in the pantheon of hurling greats last August, crushing Cork to seal back-to-back All-Ireland titles for the first time ever. There were glorious scenes played out in Croke Park and indeed all across Limerick on August 22nd, when the team reclaimed the Liam McCarthy Cup. In doing so, they won their third All-Ireland in 4 years. The All-Ireland final performance from Limerick was the stuff of dreams. It was described by many as the most complete a performance you'll ever wish to see. John Kiley's Charges defended their All-Ireland crown in emphatic style on a scoreline of 332 to Cork's 122, extending their 100% record in the championship. Speaking after the game, the man himself, John Kiley, said, "A performance like that in the most important sporting fixture in hurling, and to do that when you need it most, is a tremendous satisfaction." His men, of course, went on to collect a dozen All-Star trophies in December. It was the first time in hurling or football that any county had entered double digits in any one All-Stars selection since the awards commenced in 1971. And as we look ahead to the first championship game against Cork in 10 days' time, we're all hoping that there is at least one more fairy tale ending to the story of hurling's green giants. Please put your hands together for our August Persons of the Month, the Limerick Hurlers. And can I ask a very proud chairman of the Limerick County Board, John Cregan, to come forward and join us, please. John. You're very welcome, John. Thanks. So moving along nicely, next up, the September Award recipient. A County Limerick teenager who reached 5 swimming finals at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo was named the Limerick Person of the Month for September. At the age of 16, Roisin Ní from Drumbanna was the youngest of last year's 29-member Paralympics Ireland team. Even though she didn't win a medal, it was a remarkable Paralympics for the Limerick swimmer. Roisin competed in 6 events in the swimming pool: the 100 metres backstroke, the 100 metres butterfly, the 100 metres breaststroke, the 50 and 400 metre freestyle, and the 200 metre individual medley. she qualified for finals in each event except for the 50-metre freestyle. It was just an unbelievable experience, like nothing I've ever experienced before, smiled Roisin when she was presented with her award in the company of her mother, Marion. The standout moment for Roisin from the Games was walking out for her first swim. It was surreal to think I was walking out to compete in the Paralympics, she smiled. Having started swimming at the age of 4, Roisin's success in reaching the Games and then performing so strongly in them was down to her training and dedication. Roisin, who is visually impaired, trains at the National Centre Limerick, which is based in the University of Limerick. It's not unusual for the Gael Coláiste de Limerick student to be in the pool at 6 a.m, while all other students, and indeed probably most of us, are fast asleep in our beds. Please give it up for our September Person of the Month, Roisin Ní Rian. And you can keep that round of applause going as Roisin comes forward to join us on stage. Very welcome, Roisin. Now, let's see who received our October award. Having treated Limerick sports fans to a phoenix from the Ashes style performance last season, Treaty United were named the Limerick Persons of the Month for October. Accepting the award, Tommy Barrett, Treaty United men's first team manager, thanked all those who got behind the side, which only began playing in the League of Ireland in 2021. Following the demise of Limerick FC, the need for a senior soccer side in Limerick was realised with the founding of Treaty United in 2020. The new club had the distinction of having a women's side before a men's side. They applied for a licence to enter the First Division in November 2020, but when the fixtures came out in early February, TBC, to be confirmed, was one of the teams. TBC eventually became Treaty, but not until February 20th, 3 days before their squad had to be finalised. The club exceeded nearly all expectations, finishing in the playoffs in November, where they lost to eventually promoted UCD. The big question is, what was the magic formula that saw an amateur squad that was pulled together just 3 days before the transfer deadline in February end up vying for promotion to the top flight of Irish football by November? According to Tommy, the lads gelled well. They weren't playing for money, he said, and I suppose that helped in many ways that they all knew there was no one on professional contracts or big money. They're a good bunch of lads, he said. Our October Limerick Person of the Month, Treaty United FC. And I'm delighted to welcome the Treaty United chairman, Con Murray, to stage. You're welcome, Con. There are only 2 recipients left, so let's see who our November Limerick Person of the Year is. A committee which oversaw the transformation of a rundown library building into a modern facility which is now the heartbeat of their local community were the Limerick Persons of the Month for November. The Carnegie Library in Ballysteen, built by the Carnegie Trust in 1908, sat abandoned in the centre of the village, located 5 kilometres from the town of Askeaton. At one time, it was the most vibrant community centre, but there was never a toilet there, explained Siobhan Costello of how Ballysteen Carnegie Library and Community Heritage Centre came to be. The building had always been held in great affection by people from near and far who would have enjoyed many a good night there at the Irish Ceilidh dances. The library also hosted local concerts, political meetings, and of course the library. Following many public meetings and a subsequent public ballot, the decision was made to revamp the building. The local committee, headed up by the energetic Siobhan Costello, called the Ballysteen Carnegie Development Company Limited, was formed. It has been a challenging project for the committee, not made any easier by the COVID-19 restrictions. A massive drive was instigated locally with fundraisers organised. Their achievement is all the more impressive, given that, despite the €270,000 price tag of the project, they are now practically debt-free. Already, since its official opening last November, the building is in high demand by a whole host of clubs and organisations. It has been an arduous journey resurrecting this building, but no doubt a journey that will benefit generations for years to come, said Siobhan. Our November Persons of the Month, Ballysteen Carnegie Development Company. And can I ask our energetic Siobhan Costello to come forward, please, onto stage. Welcome, Siobhan. And it's time to meet our Limerick Person of the Month for December. A group which was founded with the intention of increasing footfall in the city and creating a better shopping experience for visitors were named the Limerick Persons of the Month for December. Limerick City Centre Traders Association was founded in January 2020, just before COVID-19 changed the retail landscape the world over. Throughout the pandemic, the group have been combining their efforts and working in partnership with Limerick City and County Council to bring a real buzz to the heart of the city. The initial aim of the association was to develop a plan that they felt would benefit Limerick City, but then COVID struck. It accelerated our need to work together, explained Caroline Long, chairperson of Limerick City Centre Traders Association. A whole month of activities took place in August, and what the association quickly found was that activities drove people into the city because they had something to come in for. Performances by jazz musicians, choirs and buskers had shoppers walking with a spring in their step, some even dancing along the city streets, while other activities included free Zumba classes and children's entertainment. Such was the positive response that the association set about planning a programme from mid-November to Christmas week, with even more on-street entertainment to enjoy. The association is always urging people to think local before pressing the purchase button for goods online. We've got to remember that every shop and every business that is open in Limerick is employing local people, and these people are our families, our relatives and our friends. We need our shops open and we need our city vibrant, said Caroline. Please put your hands together for our Persons of the Month for December. Limerick City Centre Traders Association. And I'd like to call on Owen Silk to come forward as a representative. Thank you, Owen. Welcome, Owen. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our 12 monthly recipients, each an inspiration to us all, and each one of them would certainly be a deserving Limerick Person of the Year for 2021. So as they make their way back to their seats, would you please put your hands together again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Limerick Persons of the Month 2021. January, Padraig O'Callaghan. February, family of late John Fitzgerald. March, the TY Enterprise class at Thomond College. April, draw out urban art. May, Jack O'Connor. June, HSE Home Support Service. July, our Limerick Olympians. August, Limerick Senior Hurlers. September, Roisin Ní Rian. October, Treaty United FC. November, Ballysteen Carnegie Development Company. And December, Limerick City Centre Traders Association. Well, as I mentioned, any one of our monthly winners could be a deserving Limerick Person of the Year for 2021. So one last time, a round of applause for them all collectively, please. So I think we have reached, the tension has mounted. It's as far as we'll go. We'll put you all out of your misery now by announcing who the Limerick Person of the Year for 2021 is. But unfortunately, I don't have that envelope, but I have to go to our mayor, who I know has it in his inside pocket. So. It's a white one and a brown one. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Limerick Person of the Year for 2021 is Padraig O'Callaghan. Padraig O'Callaghan, well done. Congratulations, Padraig. Congratulations, very well deserved, I think you'll agree. And Padraig, if you'd like to come forward, please, so we can, I'll call on our sponsors now to present you with your very special award. Clayton Hotel, Southern and Limerick Leader, our sponsors, presenting their award to our Limerick Person of the Year for 2021, Padraig O'Callaghan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and all of our monthly winners, I think it's only right that we ask Padraig O'Callaghan to say a few words to us. What would you think? You have it.
I've been so honored to be here. It's brilliant. I couldn't believe it at first, but now it's just a sitter. Thanks so much.
Enjoy every moment of it. I give you Padraig O'Callaghan again, ladies and gentlemen, our Limerick Person of the Year 2021. So, ladies and gentlemen, dessert, teas and coffees are now going to be served. But if I could ask the representatives, all of you who joined me on stage, all of our monthly winners, the representatives who came forward earlier, if you would like to join us in the room to my right or your left as you come forward. And if you would like to come up now, and we will get our memorable group picture. And I'll also ask our judges, of course, and Mayor Councillor Daniel Butler to join us as well, and our sponsors in our room just to my right or your left as you come up, if you wouldn't mind. And we'll have desserts, teas and coffees now. I'll talk to you shortly.